Today, my special guest is a man I've come to know and respect for his integrity, for his wisdom, and most of all, for his kindness. Now, in what he calls the third act of his life, he's bringing his 60+ years of success to his new project, which I believe could change the world. I'm proud to say he's a member of the Summiteers, and I can't wait for you to meet my friend, Paul Hoyt.
Welcome to the Summiteers podcast, a show for peak performers who are seeking success and fulfillment in all the most important areas of their lives. Each week, we explore what it really takes to create a life that you truly love in every way. A life that has meaning, purpose, and is balanced across every area of your life that matters. And now, here's your host, Dr. Don Cote.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It's Don Cote, your host, and I am here with a dear friend of mine, Paul Hoyt. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Don. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I can't wait for people to hear what you're up to these days. But what I'm going to ask you to do is tell us a little bit about how you a little bit about your background so you can kind of help us understand where you are today. But I want to let the audience know we've known each other probably, 7 or 8 years, maybe a little bit more?
Maybe more than that. When did you go to the CEO Space Business Conference?
I think it was 2016 or 17 for the first time.
Yeah, so like 10 years.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's 2026, right? So yeah, wow, already 10 years. Holy cow. I keep wanting it to be less because I want to be younger. I'm working on that.
I'm working on that every day myself. I
You're
love
better
that.
at it than I am.
Well, not for long though, because not for long, because you have this new passion in your life about health and fitness, and I love what you're doing for yourself and for your family to be as healthy and happy as you possibly can for as long as you can. Yeah, I've been doing that too. You asked the question about background and experience. One of the things I like to tell people is that I have 60 years of business experience, and I've also been doing my inner work for 60 years. My business background started programming computers in college, and I had about a 30-year career in information systems. That was what I call my Act One. In the year 2000, there was a bit of a recession in late 1999 and 2000, and the company I was working with did not make it, and I found myself on the street along with 50,000 other information systems professionals in Denver, Colorado, and I decided, well, my background in information systems has given me a very broad perspective on the way businesses work, because you get to see transactions and data flowing through all of the departments of the business. I decided that I would be a good business consultant because I was a good project manager. And so I started doing business consulting and business coaching, first in the area of strategic planning, taking my project management skills and applying them to helping people create the project plan by which they would grow their business. And later on moved into business coaching as well. And that was about 2000. But in 2004, I was blessed with an epiphany. I woke up one morning and went down to my computer, and I was feeling kind of grumpy, as I often did in mornings those days. And I just said to myself, that dang it, if I could just remember all of this great stuff I've been studying for decades, I know that I would be a healthier, happier person. And it occurred to me to ask myself the question, well, if you were going to remember the important things in life, what is it that you would remember? And gradually those answers came out, and they formed a 45-minute message to myself that I published on a CD, just simply called Remember. And it had different sections: remember who you are, what you are, where you are, why you are, your purpose in life. Remember the power that you have to make great decisions and to focus your attention. And remember this beautiful spirit that is within you, and as it turns out, is within everybody else. So since that day, I have been working on finding ways to share that wisdom, to share that love and light with other people. And I've been working on it now for nearly 22 years.
Wow.
I wrote this 45-minute inspirational work, and then I wrote two or three other inspirational texts. I published a book called The Practice of Awakening in 2010 and The Practice of Awakening 2 in 2013. Surprises on the Road to Enlightenment in 2023. Curing Racism was published in 2025. And I've got another two or three books that I have written that I haven't published yet. I also created a program called Mind Sequencing, which teaches people the art and the science of thinking the thoughts that we want to think so that we can feel the way we want to feel and be the person we want to be. I had a focused mind community, and now I'm launching the Good Power Project. So this whole transition from business coach and consultant into inspirational speaker and hopefully a source of love and light to lots and lots of people has been a 22-year transition. And I think that we got something going here with the Good Power Project. I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's a lot in one bite. My goodness. I want to unpack just a little bit of it because that I'm wondering about that moment, right? So most people never have that moment, that epiphany that happens to them. Was there something that, I mean, you kind of described, I just came down, turned on my computer, and this idea popped into my head, but was there something that stimulated that idea, or was just the universe kind of tapping you on the shoulder and saying, today's the day, Paul?
I think it was today's the day, and if you're mystical and magical, it was October the 31st, 2004. So it was the morning of Halloween, and it was Halloween somewhere. So when I woke up in California, or Colorado rather, it was already Halloween in Europe and Australia and other places. So I think you could apply some sort of mystical experience to that, but no, there wasn't anything that I did differently at all. It just, the idea popped into my head. And by the way, since that time, have been blessed with hundreds of small epiphanies. And that's the way that I write most of my books is, I wake up in the morning, I have an inspired thought, receive some sort of guidance of some kind, and I write it down, and it's a page or it's 2 pages or it's a poem or it's a little song. And when I get a collection of those, I publish them. That's what Practice of Awakening was, the Practice of Awakening 2, Surprises on the Road to Enlightenment is. And I'm sharing lots and lots of little messages, little 1.5, 2 minute tidbits of wisdom I call the Good Power Glimmers whenever we launch the Good Power Project.
So let's talk about that just a little bit. What's the foundation of that? Because there's probably many aspects to it, and I know a bit about it because we've talked about it. There's lots of aspects to it, but what's the foundation of it, and what do you hope that it does for people?
The foundation of the Good Power Project itself.
Right.
So the Good Power Project is focused on helping good people like you, become stronger, more confident, and more capable people so they can do good in the world. We're forming a Good Power community, and it's free for anybody to join the Good Power community.
Wow.
The only requirement is that you need to pledge to yourself to do your best to embrace our 5 guiding principles: integrity, respect, optimism, courage, and kindness, which conveniently form the acronym IROC. And we did that on purpose because it's easy to remember. It's kind of fun, and when you embrace those guiding principles, you do rock. I mean, it's a great thing to embrace. One of the key, I think, advantages and attributes of the Good Power community is it's unbundled. There are no requirements for you to believe anything else. You don't have to wear particular clothes. You don't have to kneel at particular altars. You can be a Democrat or a Republican. You can be an atheist or a Christian. It doesn't make any difference. The only thing that we ask that people in the community do is do their best to embrace those 5 guiding principles. And I think our country and I think the world would be a better place if we could do that. I really think that here in the United States, especially, with all the divisiveness and the arguing and the fighting that's going on in our politics and in other areas, that we're ready for what I call an ethical groundswell. We're ready for good people to stand up and say, I'm tired of this crap. Can't we just get along? Can't we just begin to collaborate with each other, cooperate with each other, listen to each other, respect each other, be kind to each other? How can we do that? And that's what we're trying to champion with the Good Power community. And when you're in the Good Power community, we offer various programs to help you grow stronger in three ways: with vitality, capability, and mindset. We want everybody to be as strong and healthy as they can, so we offer programs on vitality. We want everybody to increase their ability to help other people, so we offer programs to help you increase your skills, your knowledge, gather the tools that you need, gather the resources you need, so you're actually capable of doing more and better work for other people. And of course, we focus on mindset, your inner beliefs about yourself, your beliefs about the way the world works, all kinds of different things that we have. It's a very, very rich topic area and a very rich program.
So you said it's free to be a member. Are there programs that are inside that are all doing in those for those three areas that are also free, or do people offer the opportunity to purchase courses?
Absolutely both. So part of the Good Power Project is the Good Power Alliance. The Good Power Alliance are professional service providers who also embrace those guiding principles and who have something to offer to other people. Every one of those members of the Alliance has been personally vetted by me. I know that they are a good person. I know that they have great products and services, and they treat other people fairly. I know they will offer a guarantee of their products and services, and they will also give away, as I give away things, as I give away copies of my books, if I give away my Good Power Glimmers, as I give away my empowering sequences of the day, as I give away a Fundamentals of Empowerment workshop. We want to help other people for free as much as possible, but we do recognize that most people learn most effectively when they go through group coaching programs or intense personal coaching programs, and those do come at a fee.
Yeah, and people tend to pay attention to what they pay for.
Yes.
So if there's some financial cost attached to it, you would think that if somebody got it for free, they would value it as much as they would something they paid for, but they don't often. And the way I want the world to be is not necessarily the way it really is.
Yeah, and I find that to be very true. I find that to be true about myself as well, by the way. If I spend $29 for a course, I might take a look at it a little bit, but if it starts to get a little tough, or I don't understand something, I just kind of say, okay, well, I tried that. But if I'm going to spend $3,000 or $5,000 to go to a conference or to take a more intensive program, you bet that I'm going to pay attention to that and get my most value out of it. And that's the way it works with other people too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the sad part about it, I think, is that so many people have come to the point, because so much is free on the internet, that they expect everything for free, and they don't realize how that hurts them, because they can just kind of go, yeah, I looked at it, like you said, I looked at it and I really lost interest in it, right? It didn't cost them anything, but if they had made an investment, they would be digging a little deeper to see if maybe they missed something or what have you, and maybe find that gem, right?
Yeah, and I think cohorts and group coaching are really beneficial as well, because, especially when you stress at the beginning of that program that you're not just here for yourself, you're here for others as well. We want your great ideas to share with other members of this group, other members of this cohort. So when you show up, think about showing up for yourself, but also showing up for other members in the group and doing what we can to form that personal connection, which makes that bond that helps people show up every single time for themselves and for others, and allows them to get the most value out of the programs that they enroll in.
Yeah, and I mentioned to people in the introduction that you're also a member of a community that I created called Summiters,
Yeah.
and we meet every Thursday morning. And in that meeting, there's maybe a dozen people, give or take, sometimes 20, sometimes a little less. There's so much that we all gain from that, and it's almost at the end of the hour, it's almost like no, wait, it's over? Oh, darn. I got to wait till next week in order to be able to have those deep, meaningful conversations with people that care, that people are genuine and authentic and really giving of themselves. And so I see the Good Power Project to be similar to that. But the thing that's different about it is that you actually have so much valuable content that you've created over the years, and your generosity allows you to give a lot of that away. And I think that once people get a chance to consume some of that information, it makes sense for them to say, and what does Paul have? He's keeping the good stuff under lock and key, and that stuff is for sale. And if this stuff is so good and it's free, I wonder what else he's got. And so I think that it's a great model. Tell us a little bit about the kind of people that you are, other than good people, because obviously that's obvious. But what are there particular occupations, particular geography, footprints that you're looking for? How are you finding people to join the project?
We're in a discovery phase at this point in time. I'm a big believer in the lean startup methodology, which says that you create a minimum viable product, you go out to people who you think might be willing to purchase that at a fair price, and you test the market. It is the science of entrepreneurship, and we're applying it. All of my business coaching and consulting knowledge, we're applying to this too. So here's who we think our market is. We think it's 25 to 40-year-old professionals who are done with their college, but they're not done with educating. They see an opportunity to advance in their career. They see an opportunity to be a better parent. They see an opportunity for personal growth, and they're willing to invest in programs like the Good Power Project to just have the best life possible, to be the best worker, to have the best career, to be the best husband or wife, to be the best mother or father that they can. And they're still very willing to work on themselves. They still embrace that one of those 5 guiding principles, and that is the principle of optimism. They're courageous and they're optimistic, and they're willing to put in the work to be the best person they can be for themselves and for their family and their loved ones.
Yeah, and one of the other things I love about your model is that, it's kind of like you go to a really great movie and you can't wait to tell somebody about it so that they can go and see it as well, or you go to a great restaurant or something like that. So tell us a little bit about the nature of propagation, how we're going to be able to get more and more people involved because of the experience that they have.
There's a twofold approach. First of all, we're giving away a lot of good stuff. And I'm hopeful that when somebody experiences one of my Good Power glimmers, for example, a pull or an insight that I've shared with them, and I'd love to share one with you here a little bit, that they'll be so inspired that they'll want to share that with other people. So they're going to be free on Facebook, free on YouTube, free on Instagram and TikTok. And we hope that people will find something that they really enjoyed that was very meaningful to them, and they will share it with their friends. The second marketing approach that we're going to do is podcast guesting, like talking to you today. Having special offers for people who listen to a particular podcast, and see if we can leverage the communities that other people have built to increase our brand awareness and to make special offers to those folks as well. And our Good Power Alliance members, by the way, will also be sending out messages in social media and via email to their lists to bring people into the community. So I guess it's threefold. One is great content that people want to share. Number 2 is podcast guesting. And number 3 is getting our Good Power Alliance members to send the message out that this is a great thing to their networks and their communities.
Well, the other thing I love about it is it's universal, right? It's not just men, it's not just women, it's not just young people, it's not just old people, but there is a certain mentality that I think you're looking for, and you're wanting to cultivate, which is to have that positive outlook on life, and that you want to contribute to others. And I think that I had this experience and recently, and I've had the opportunity to talk to people about this experience a lot in probably the last couple of years. I noticed it happens a lot. Someone will say, "Hey, let me help you out with something," right? Let me help you move that couch, right? Or whatever. And the other person says, no, 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 I got it. I'm all set, right? Well, when someone offers something to you and you turn them down, you cost them the opportunity of feeling good
Right.
about contributing to you, right? And
Amen.
so I've been telling people just accept graciously and then pay it forward. Remember that movie Pay It Forward? What a great movie. And then pay it forward. Do the same thing. If someone did something nice for you, the likelihood is that you're not going to be able to do anything. It's not about paying it back. It's about paying it forward. And so I know that that element exists here as well. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, one of my favorite expressions is that it is a blessing to be a blessing.
Mm,
It really feels good to help somebody out. Whether you're lending them a hand and helping them up because they've fallen down, or whether you are, offering an ice cream cone to a child, or you're taking your grandkid to an amusement park, it really is a blessing. It makes you feel like life is meaningful whenever you're able to help somebody out in some way. Give them a skill, help them gain some knowledge, give them the resources they want, give them a contribution of some kind. And so it is an incredible blessing to me to be able to share all the wisdom that I've gained and the love and the light that I have come to embrace over the years with other people.
You were talking about, the state of our society, the state of our world. There's so much hatred around out there. And if people only knew that the best part of life is actually helping other people because it makes you feel good, right? You get
Yeah.
back twofold, at least, maybe tenfold, when you give to somebody else genuinely, authentically, especially if it's you're not expecting anything in return, just want to help somebody out. If we all just could, if the Good Power Project didn't do anything else except teach people how good it feels to be in contribution, that would change the world. It would shift on its axis, I think.
I love that. That's exactly right. I firmly believe that, and that's why we have one of the good power guiding principles is kindness. Kindness is love in action. It's actually doing something, taking action to support somebody else, to help somebody else have their best life possible.
Yeah. So so you've got the pledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about the pledge? Because I think that's a really key element, and it's not something I've ever seen anybody else do.
It's simple when you go to thegoodpowerproject.com and you sign up. All we ask is for your email address. We'd like to get a phone number because we'd like to send you a daily inspirational text. As long as you're in the United States, we don't do that to foreign countries quite yet. So we want to send you stuff every day to remind you that we are here, etc. And in order to get all of the free stuff that we offer, all we ask is that you sign the pledge. And when you give us your contact information, we will send you a document. We'll send you a document that says something like, as much as I possibly can, to my very best of ability, I will be a person of integrity. I will be honest and I will be consistent in everything that I do. I will respect others, respect their journey through life and their freedom to make their own choices. I will be optimistic. I will look for the best in everybody and in every situation. I'll be courageous. I'll be brave and I'll be strong and I will do the tough things, especially when it's tough and it's the right thing to do. And I will be kind. I will be generous in heart, generous in spirit, generous with my resources, with other people. And if we can form, not if, when we form a community of dozens, hundreds, thousands of millions of people who have made that pledge to themselves, we will have done our part to effect that ethical groundswell and that pendulum shifting back or shifting forward in ways that it never has shifted, for us to have a world of greater understanding and respect and collaboration and cooperation for each other and with each other.
There's a great book. It's been a long time since I've read it. It's called A Tipping Point. You probably read it.
I have.
And the thing that struck me about that idea is it doesn't take 51% of the world to be a particular way in order for the world to shift. it's a small percentage. I forget, maybe less than 10%. So if the Good Power Project impacts just 10% of the people in the United States, and there's a significant shift in kindness and generosity and love and caring and all that sort of thing. And imagine living in a world, in a country, in a world where that's possible, where when people come out of their door and they look at their neighbor and they say good morning and they talk to them about how they can help them today and things like that, what a different world it would be. And I see that as the vision for the Good Power Project.
That's the world that I want for a couple of different reasons. For everybody individually, first, because being a person of love and light, having great health, having happiness, having this sense of higher consciousness, having this sense of connection to divine and this awareness of the miracle of life, a lot of times during the day is just a wonderful, wonderful way to live life. I want everybody individually to have that. And that's motivation number one for me. The second one is I want this to be the best place possible for my granddaughter, for your children, for your grandchildren, for generations to come. I want to do what I can to give her the very best chance of having loving, kind relationships and having a world where she is listened to, where she is heard, where she is supported. And at my age, at this tender age, well beyond 70, that's where my mindset is. It's on giving back. It's on sharing what I have learned over the years so I can leave this world a better place than I found it.
Yeah, I've said for a really long time, I think the gateway to abundance is generosity. And so if we could just be a little more generous with other people, a smile costs nothing, and yet it can shift someone's entire day. I mean, there are stories of people that have just done some little act of kindness for somebody who was thinking of committing suicide but didn't tell anybody, and that prevented that. And so we never know what's going on in somebody else's world, somebody else's life. But the kind words and the kind gestures always have a positive impact. So, Paul, let me ask you this question because we're almost out of time. I can't believe it went by so fast. But when will the Good Project be launched, and what can people do right now?
Right now, you can go to goodpowerproject.com and get the information and take the pledge and be a part of the community and begin to enjoy the daily inspirational texts. And we do have a weekly meeting that people are welcome to come to learn more about it. We're still on the planning stages. I think we're 3 or 4 weeks away. I think we're mid-June. I want to upload 20 different Good Power glimmers, little 1.5 minute, 2 minute video messages of inspiration and insight to YouTube and Facebook and wherever. And that's taking me a little bit of time to do that. So we're probably 3 or 4 weeks away. And now's the time to get in there so you can be on the ground floor and be one of the first people to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. We certainly do plan to offer special discounts and special programs to our first 100 members. So if somebody wants to be one of those 100 members, go to goodpowerproject.com and sign up, take the pledge, become a member of the community.
Well, I'm grateful to be a member of the community. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say that, some people say, well, how do I get started? What is the next step on this journey of becoming a stronger person? I just want to share a couple of things with people. Number one is be somebody who's really good at relaxing. It is really, really important for you to give yourself permission at least a couple of times a day, and certainly, before you go to sleep for the night, to be able to let go of all of your tension and stress. Let go of it in your body from your toes to your nose. Practice slowing down your thoughts. Practice, speaking softer to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. All of those problems, all of those worries, all of that tension and stress can wait for the end of your relaxation session or wait for your good night's sleep. But become really good at that. Allow yourself to heal. And when you practice that for a while, you will be able to allow yourself to receive guidance. And whether you think that's coming from an external source or just you when you're at your best and being as kind to yourself as possible doesn't really make any difference. But when you learn to listen to that still small voice that's within, you will find that there is great wisdom that is right there waiting for you.
I have said to many people over the years, or asked the question, who's there when everything goes right? The answer is you. You're always there. Who's there when everything goes wrong? You. Who's the only one who can really count on to be there all the time? You. Why don't you be nicer to you?
That's really good. Let me share one of my favorite good power glimmers, if I may.
Thanks.
I was on a bus coming home from one of those business conferences where we met, and a young lady on the bus, I was chatting with her, and she said, "Hey, Paul, you remind me of Eckhart Tolle." I said, "What? I remind you of Eckhart Tolle?" I said, "God, what? How did you know Eckhart Tolle?" And she said, "Well, he was a guest on my podcast once." And I said, "Well, what did you talk about?" And she said, "Well, I remember this. I remember asking him what it was like to be a great spiritual teacher and really quite a celebrity. And he said, well, it's really not like that at all. I just kind of get out of the way. I quiet my mind and spirit comes through. My thoughts, my words are guided." And I went home and I wrote this poem. It's not about me or the things that I do. I just get out of the way and spirit comes through. It's really quite simple and it's always is true. I let go of my fear and spirit comes through. My thoughts are enticing, but they limit my view. So I quiet my mind and spirit comes through. As it has been for me, so it can be for you. Just step to one side and let spirit come through.
Wow. Profound. And on that note, I'm not sure we can top that, Paul. So tell everybody one last time, please, and I'm going to put it in the show notes as well, but how can they get started with the Good Power Project right now?
Just go to goodpowerproject.com, goodpowerproject, one word, .com, sign up, get on our mailing list, get on our daily inspirational text list, and stay tuned for greatness.
And Paul and I look forward to seeing you in a Good Power Project meeting very soon. Thanks, Paul, for being here.
Thanks, Don. Good to talk with you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for coming today, folks. I hope you got some really good information, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Everything you heard today resonated with you. Your next step is simple. Subscribe to The Summiteers newsletter. Download the free Peak Performers self-evaluation. The link is below in the show notes. The self-evaluation will only take a few minutes to complete, and you will instantly know where you can make small changes that will make a big difference in your life. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast now, mark your calendar, and don't forget to tune in every Friday. Until next time, remember, climbing together is better.